Okay, so in this video, I would like to let you know how to read the data uh, from in R. Okay, so so you can download the R script called C3 Read Data from the course website, and you can download this, and you can replicate all the things I will discuss later. Okay, so the first things is you need to set up the working directory. So just in case the current working directory is not the folder you store your data. So before our analysis, we should set the path to the working directory to let us know the files are located. So for example, the data we use are stored in this folder. So you need to change the working directory to this folder. So how to do that? You use set wd, set working directory, and put the folder's path to let R know what happened. But be careful when you use window. Usually, uh, if you copy your folder, it looks like this slash. But R, you need to change to this slash. Otherwise, R doesn't understand. I don't know why, but you need to do that. So if you just copy, well, like this, but you need to change to this way, this slash. Okay, just pay attention. Okay, so you can do that. Implement this, and I will change the working directory to this, that the folder you store your data. So that is this, in my case, is here. So I store all the data here, and I will use this data for the later. Okay. And you also can use this function to get the path for the current working directory. So get working directory. So that will tell you where are you, where is your working directory. So they show the current working directory is here because you already set to this directory. So in the original, maybe it's in other folders, and you need to change to the folder that you store your data set. Okay, and then you can use this dir to list all available files, all available data set, or R script. So you can implement. It will show you have ACS, CSV, DTA, DAT, something like this, and that's exactly the same here, list here. Okay. Okay. So first, you can, if your data format originally is CSV file or TXT file, that you should learn when I discuss data, you can using some function to load it to make R can understand. So you can use this read CSV function. This is the function from the base R. It's a default package, so you don't need to install or load any new package. That's already installed in the base R system. And what does this works is you just put several arguments. First, you need to let R know where what's your data file's name. File's name is ACS 2015.csv. And you don't need to put any path in front of the file's name because you already set up the working directory. So the R already look at the folder you store these files. So you don't need to put any path before the file's name. Okay. And so that will transform this CSV file to the object. So we assign this transform to the object called ACS 2015 CSV. This name is named by yourself. Okay. So that will create an object, and this is the data frame object that can store the data in R. So in R, we have the data frame object. That's the special is help us to store the data set. So you can consider these objects like files, data files in Stata. But in R, we just use the object to store these data. So now the data is transformed to this object. And you can have several options. For example, you want to keep the handler. That means you want to keep the variable's name in the first row. Okay. Okay, so then you can try to play with this. I can implement this code. And if you implement, you will see there's the data. Oh, I already opened. There's the data. This is data frame object. They call data frame object, and it has 60,000 observations, 17 variables. And you can click it. It will show the data. So you can see, so far I think you know this object actually is represent a DTA file in Stata. So R can open a lot of file at the same time. It's very different from Stata. So Stata, you can only open one data file one time. Or if you want to open more, you need to open a lot of data. But R, you just need to open once. And the concept is very different. The R is use this so-called workplace. And you can open a lot of data set and convert to the data frame. So this is all the data. This data is the objects. Is the object. And this object has a lot of observation and a lot of 17 variable. So this is looks like you can explore to understand what the variable looks like. It's the same data set we just mentioned before in the data. It's the household level data, and individual level data is about households income and some basic characteristics. Okay, so you can close it, and you can also check what is this object, and using this function it will tell you it's a data frame, is the object that's help you store the data. And you can use the type view to open the data set. Or click here, you can also open it. Okay, so if you want to learn more, you can help and you can learn here. Okay. And you can read the CSV, and also you can transform back to the CSV. So you already created a data frame object called ACS 2015. So it's here, 2015. And maybe you want to change back this data frame to the CSV file. So you can use write CSV, this function. There is also the default package from default package. Transform data frame object ACS CSV. That's first argument you need to put in. And second argument you need to put in is the file's name you want to create. So it's file equal to this. So that will generate a new file called ACS 2015.csv. Okay. So you can implement, okay, maybe I call V2. So you will show. So originally, if you see the data here, there's no V2, right? No V2. But after I implement, you will see there's a file called v2. That's a CSV file. So that's the file you just create using this function. Okay, so that's also help you to show you really generate a new file, dir. Okay, a similar type function, you can read the txt file. So that's so-called read.table. Is again also the default package from R. So you can read this data set is the txt file, and also you want to keep the variable's name, and you use the command to separate the variable. So that very similar structure, but just use this read.table, and you put the file's name and some argument, some option. So that will read the data from this txt file and assign to this new object, create this new object called CSV 2015 txt. So this is a data frame, again, this data frame object that can store the data in R. So you can implement, and that will generate this new file. So you can simultaneously open the two data set at the same time. That's very different from Stata. So that means using R is more suitable for handle the big data set, because you can open a lot of data set at the same time. Okay. And again, you can change back to the txt. So you can use write. Let me check. Oh, sorry, this is a typo here. Write table. So just follow here. Write table. So you will generate new file, and it show up here. It's a txt file and v2. So sorry, this is the table, write table. So I will change it later. Okay.